Viewers, welcome back to the Self-Made Auto Channel. That's a 2010. It's the Honda. It's the Odyssey. Evidently, the rear hatch doesn't open, and it has a little symbol on the dash. The guy shot a few used parts at it, tried a new latch, tried a new control module, evidently, and nothing has worked. So he said, well, doesn't want to throw any more parts at it, so I thought we'd give it a shot and see if we can make it work for him. So nothing really happens when you pull the handle there. I'll see, make sure it's not locked. So that's locked, that's unlocked. We'll just see if it feels any different. Don't imagine it does. No, so it does feel like it's locked to me, and I'll show you the symbol on his dash here. Let's see. Oh yeah, it was this symbol down here. So a little tailgate up, exclamation point. Left the box of goodies here. So it looks like, I guess these are the original parts. So that's the control module, and this is the latch here. So I think first and foremost, I'll go back there. He's got the little panel off it back there. We can take and pop the thing open. Just kind of a little visual inspection. Maybe we can even look at this. And then we're going to have to look at some service data, see how this little guy works. Honda's pretty cool because they do have the little access panel here. I think I've showed this before on a Honda Pilot, perhaps. I think they had a latch that was bad or something. But you take the little cover off, and there is a little lever in there that you flip, and you can, at least get your gate open manually. But I notice that's all it does when we push the close button. I see that's kind of hanging out of there. The gate's looking a little rough, but still, opens and closes mechanically just fine. I think before we dive too deep into the service data, being that it has its own control module, it appears, we'll look on scan data to see if there's anything here that pertains to the tailgate. Might give us some clues as we're looking at service data. So I'm going to let this scan first and see if we can talk to tailgate module or whatever Honda refers to it as. Okay, lots of codes. I'm assuming this is power tailgate, and it is power tailgate. So we're going to skip all the other codes for right now and just go to it. Unless there's like, communication type, errors, then we'll go through and read everything out. So we'll pull the codes here. And tailgate closer unit full latch switch circuit malfunction. Power tailgate motor clutch circuit malfunction, and a short and rear mode control motor circuit. So it's interesting. We have 3 permanent codes. And now I know he's been back here fiddling with stuff, so I don't know how many of these are relevant. So we're going to do this. It automatically saves them, so I'm just going to see what's the press OK to clear body codes. Are not cleared. Oh, okay. So if it doesn't clear, it tells us how to clear them. So we're going to see if they do clear out and see. Okay, so it came back with just 2. Short and rear mode control motor circuit and power tailgate motor clutch circuit malfunction. So I think this is, probably where we'll start. We'll look on service data and see, see what we can learn. So this is kind of interesting. I was just looking on service data. I printed out the code so I didn't keep using the scan tool. This short and rear mode control motor circuit sounds funny because it's, has to deal with the HVAC unit, the actual rear mode control motor for changing panel to vent to floor. Why it's showing up in the tailgate control module, well, I'll tell maybe, I don't know. This is the one we're actually after, this 1389 power tailgate motor clutch circuit malfunction. So I looked in service data so we could get a connector diagram and kind of see what it says about it. And then I printed us out an actual wiring diagram so we could see it. So here's this power tailgate clutch, and I highlighted the 2 wires, and that went along with, or goes along with service data. And they're saying, to make sure it's actually a hard fault code. And then check for continuity between tailgate control unit connector B, that's a 20 pin, terminal 9 and number 20, and body ground individually. They want to see if it's shorted. Yeah, okay, so go along with that. As they're short to ground, and then I think they have you do some other checks to see if it has, power at the connector. But I think what we could do, this tailgate clutch, I assume it's some sort of solenoid. We can check for, short to ground if we want, or we can check to see if, is this continuous through there, and, is this, this clutch, does it, 10 ohms, something like that, you know, whatever, it doesn't give us a spec on it, but is there continuity through the clutch? Does it have the ability to function? Fortunately for us, this fella has this van tour part. So here's the control module, here's connector B, and I do see the gray wire and the blue wire, so pin 9 and pin 20, which goes to this clutch, or which go to the clutch. We'll get our meter up here. I don't know if you guys will be able to see it, but I'll give you a shout out to what it is. I think the pins are big enough that we won't need anything special, so I'll hold that there. We'll just see if it has a short to ground. Kind of doubt that it does, but so nothing on that one, which is good. And then pin 20, which is the second one in, or 9, lightly touch it there. Nothing there, but I want to see, more importantly, does it have continuity through it? And it does, and about 7 ohms, 6.9. Go figure. And that's kind of what I would expect on a solenoid, so that's gonna excuse me, draw, you know, an amp and a half, 2 amps, if that's how that functions. So that's interesting. And then I guess while we're right here at this connector, I think this said something about okay, so right from a fuse 17 20 amp, hot at all times, that comes down and goes to pin 12, and it's white. So let's see, the pin 12 is supposed to be in a corner, according to this diagram. Pin 12 is up in a corner next to a blank. And there's one right there, so there's a white wire, pin 12. Let me just see if there's a ground on this connector too that we can utilize. And there is pin 8, no, sorry. Yes, pin 18 is a ground. Okay, so pin 18, which is black. And that's the third one in on one of the ends. Am I missing it here? Second, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's. Let me double check this, folks. Here, B18. Supposed to be next to a gray. That's interesting. I do see the wire, but it doesn't appear to be in the correct pin. I mean, I doubt anybody's been back here moving this stuff. Sometimes aftermarket diagrams aren't great. Well, I tell you what, instead of trying to use that ground just in case our diagram's wrong, I did bring a test light here. We're going to back probe into the one that we know is power, or supposed to be power, and then we'll just check it on the ground here. Okay, so we have no test light, so that tells me we have no power here at our module. So we probably ought to run up there and check the fuse just to be on the safe side. Oh no, I'm sorry, the ground is pin number 19, so that is correct, not 18. So this is the ground. Okay, so I guess we can just stick this right in here. So we're going to stick one end of our test light in the ground, back probe it, the other end in the one that's supposed to have full-time battery power. And we'll just leave that there. And now we can run up and find where this fuse is. It says driver's under dash fuse box, left kick panel, fuse 17 20 amp. Let's go find that. Fuse 17. I'm guessing in here. 17 PTG closer, power tailgate closer. Let's figure out how this thing goes. So we've got some open holes there. Upper. Sometimes fuse box stuff can be a little confusing. Let's see, so we have a 7.5, a 20, 20, 20, 20, 20, 20, and then a blank, and then a 10, 15, 10. Okay, yep, so okay, so this is the way it goes. It goes like this. You hold it like this, read it like that. I don't know what you guys can see down there, but let's get us a good ground here. We'll go right on the bracket for the parking brake. That should be a good ground. So it would be a shame if you drove it this far with a bad fuse or missing fuse. And we were doing number 17. So starts out at number 12. So 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. All right, we have power on both sides. So that's good. And that was right next to a 1510. Okay, yeah. So I just want to make sure we're on the right fuse. What we should do is pull that out to make sure the fuse has both legs on it. And then we're going to need, I'm guessing because we don't have power back there, we're going to need a diagram that perhaps there's a connector between here and there. And that one doesn't go through the flex joint on the door. The other thing we can do too, proof of concept, before we go chasing any kind of broken wire, we can put power to that thing, which I think that's what we should do. I'm going to get a pair of pliers, make sure somebody didn't play a trick on us and cut the leg off the fuse. And then we're going to run power to that module. Okay, nobody did any kind of funny business as far as chopping that fuse off. I don't think we'll need that. I did hook up our power probe. We can make sure that our ground here is good. So I'm still hooked into the same ground. We can see we can light up light, so that tells us our ground back here is good. Definitely missing the power, however. Oh, but you see that? We have 9.59 volts. So that must be, well, that tells us something. What's that tell us? That tells us that's not ghost voltage. Boogity boogity. Not that kind. But that's going to help us out, I think, in our diagnosis. Because, let's see, let's just get something random here. Well, I need something random. Can't find anything random. But ghost voltage, you know, I would expect to see it kind of bouncing around, you know, near, at or around 0, just kind of doing silly things. But you can see this here is like 11.16 volts, 11.19, somewhere's in there. But that's not near enough. It's voltage, but it can't carry current. We proved that with a test light. It's supposed to be a 20 amp circuit. We can't light a 2 amp light or 1.5 amp light. I'll show you a little something here I'm thinking. So I'm going to back probe this. And this is where a multimeter can get you. Because if we stick our meter on here, because this is not high impedance, I bet if we stick this one on here, I bet we're going to see probably battery voltage or close to it. I'll hold. I don't know if you guys can see that. Hopefully you can. That's going to be my guess because it's more high impedance. So there we are, 12.67 volts. So if you're using your meter, 12.8 volts because I've got the battery tender on it. If you're using your meter, you're going to be like, yep, we've got battery voltage where it needs to be. But let me show you a little trick here, folks. There's battery volt. Let's see. Let me just stick this somewhere where it stays. Wedge that behind here. So 12.81 volts. I'm going to touch this with my finger. I bet we can pull it down. Now there's 12, and it's coming down slowly because I got pretty high resistance in my body. 11.3, 11.2, 11.1, 11, 10. I take my hands back off it. We go back up to 13 volts. Lick my finger here a little. Get a little more conductive. Or take this finger because it's a little shorter and I can reach over here, a little less resistance to those fingers. But you can see I'm pulling it down to 9 volts. So that tells me we have, you know, voltage that can't carry current. So don't be tricked by your meter. If you're testing circuits that are designed to carry current, test them with a substituted load that you know is going to work. So there's one lesson for us. It doesn't fix the problem on the car, no, but it gives us a lesson. So we're going to back probe this. Try to do this without shorting anything out here. We'll take and back probe that because we need to plug this back in to provide power to it. So that's probed back in. I brought us out a jump wire because I don't know if we're going to have to clear codes or what we're going to have to do to make the tailgate function. But I'm going to hook that on there, and then the other end of the jump wire I'm going to hook it on my power probe. Whole thing could go up in smoke. I'm going to turn the beeper off. I'm going to provide power to it. I'm just going to hold the power to it, and I've got the scan tool here. I'm going to take and we're going to clear the trouble codes, erase codes, key on, engine off. Okay, let's just see here. I want to see if the code disappears, and the code is now gone. Let me go get the very lovely Mrs. O, see if she can, well actually, you know what, I can use the scan tool here. I'll go to active test, I'll go to drive motor. I don't know if this is going to work. and then I'm going to hit close. Nah, that's not doing anything. Let me go get the very lovely Mrs. O. Or actually, I might have enough wire here. Oops, nope, just lost it. So I don't know if it generates a code here or not, but I'll keep this on here. I'm going to keep 12 volts fed to it. You stay right there. I'm going to push the button out here, see if it does anything. No, we probably need to do some reset it manually. Let me get full-time power running this, see if it fixes it. But we might have some other issues too. I close the door manually. I think we'll come up here. Yeah, I see his lights off. We'll turn the key off. Let's see here. Open and close this door. Turn the key on. We'll make sure everything's unlocked, and then, oh hey, look at that, I heard it. Ta-da! Okay, proof of concept, it works. It opens, it closes. Okay, so now we know whatever it is we need to know. We know we have missing power at the module, we have it at the fuse. Yeah, and it works back here now. And then this button back here should work too. How you like my trigger, huh? Vice grips, baby. Alright, that opens, it closes. We gotta open it back up. So I smell lunch. So I'm gonna go eat lunch. And then I think they make a latch switch for this Power Probe 4. I don't have one. We're gonna come up here and shut the key off because we don't need the key on anymore. So there, I think that was pretty easy. At least we know what's going on, and we can call the customer and say, here's what's going on, fella. And we need more time. However, we have diagnosed. I'm gonna take this little sketchy scene apart here before something bad happens. But on this diagram, and it's getting old, things starting to suck. Can't see as well as I used to. But the power, it just shows it coming straight down and straight in. But this is a color diagram. And these are good for doing quick little troubleshooting things, but we're gonna need a real diagram from Honda, because I doubt that wire runs from that fuse box straight back to here and that's it. No connectors, no nothing. I'm assuming that there's a connector. My experience with Honda tells me that there's probably a lot of connectors, or at least one would be helpful, because we need to break the system down now. Where's the wire broke? Which in this case the wire is not broke. We know that we're dealing with corrosion because we have a voltage back here. We have 12.66 volts. We're dealing with corrosion. If it was ghost voltage, we wouldn't see that because it's somewhat connected. We know that for a fact because when we touch our finger on it and touch it to ground, it doesn't pull it straight to 0. It pulls it to 8 or 9 volts. It can probably flow very, very little current through it. So definitely a corroded wire, corroded connector. I'd bet the farm on it. Only because we have facts to follow. So I'm gonna eat some lunch with the lovely Mrs. O. What's up?
Lunch is ready.
Ah, I knew it. Knew you were coming. I was just telling people. So we'll go eat lunch with her, and then carry on, find out where the green crusties are living today. The lunch is over, and I printed this out, some stuff. I printed this out, a factory wiring diagram. And you can see we were after fuse 17, which is a 20 amp, which it shows on the factory diagram. But what it didn't show on our color diagram is this important little fact right here. See how this here indicates there's a connector, pin 1 and pin 2 of connector C, like Charlie, 702. So I said, where is C702? So I printed out the connector pin view, because we're supposed to be pin, I think it said pin 1 and pin 2, which that doesn't make sense because that could be wrong, because here's C702, and it says behind left rear side trim panel connects 4 wire and harness left rear branch to rear wire and harness left branch. The pin numbers may be wrong, but we can see that we have wires here pertaining to power tailgate, pin 4 and pin 5. See, those are yellow, blue, white, black. Let's see what color they are here. Let's just make sure we're on the right direction here. This one is white, blue, and white. So the wire we're after is the white one, because that's the, yeah, what am I talking about here? We don't want white, blue. We don't care about that. We want the white wire, which shows it in cavity 1. Yes, okay. I was thinking of testing that clutch is what I was thinking of. So yeah, so this is what we're after, is pin 1, the white wire, fuse 17 driver side. So missing my train of thought here. And then here's what we needed to find, is where is connector C702. It's on here somewhere. It looks like it's going to be up in this wheel arch, and I think we should find it right here on this list. So this is number 6, C702, male, number 6. It's not on my image because must be I was zoomed in too much. Let me see. So we know which ones it's not. Let me go look on my computer. I didn't even look before I printed this for you. Let's be connector number 6. We'll see if it's towards the back, the middle, wherever the heck it is. But either way, I think all this trim here's got to get tore off and get after it. So there you go. There's number 6. It was missing off my diagram because I did it wrong. But yeah, so it's right here in the very back corner. Maybe we can just pop that trim back a little bit. At least see, are we missing power there? The evidence is pointing towards corrosion, so I'm hoping that perhaps we just have a corroded connector. Now all this stuff was already off when the fella dropped it off, so that's kind of nice because we don't have to put a lot of things back. We put them back kind of how we found them. Oh, it looks like somebody's been in here, fellas. I see some clips that are kind of funky. Oh, there's a little panel down here for the jack. You got your jack tools down there. I wonder if that's... Bing bong, bing bong. I just wonder if we can see the connector that we need to see, like right here. Some kind of module here. I don't see... I think it was going to be around this area, right? I just thought maybe we could see it without... There's a connector here. Remember we did a video with Mrs. O's van? I think her airbag light was on because the connector had gotten some soda or something in it. Let's see about popping this thing back. Oh, this thing's already broke down here. Just wonder if we can I don't think I have screwed a bunch of junk in there. Bunch of stuff there. Now we should take the threshold off the back. Oh, you know what? I bet the wiring. Okay, yeah, it's inside the behind this metal panel here. So we will have to take this off because I can see some connectors inside the panels, and it does look pretty corroded and crusty back here. Okay, and then there's a little dust shield here, so I'm going to take and pull the threshold off. We're going to get this panel off so we can hopefully find that connector and at least isolate half the system. Pretty fair amount of rust and corrosion going on back here, folks. I think, according to our diagram, because if you look back here, there's a module that sits right here, and it's one big giant chunk of rust. If I remember right, these Hondas used to have some problems with where the sliding door cable comes through the quarter panel, and they have a tendency to leak a lot of water back here. So we're going to take this sliding door control unit out here, because I think our connector we need to get to is right there, but I kind of would like to stick this to the side if I could, or at least give us some room to get our hands back in here. Because we at least need some direction, you know, where are we heading with this thing? Is our wire good up to this point? Try to get this thing pushed through here a little bit. There we go, yeah, baby. Is that our connector? I think it is. I think that's what it looked like. What's up, Mrs. O? Oh, a thing you printed out?
Yeah.
It's over on my computer.
Oh, okay.
I thought it was yours and not mine. Oh!
You got making potatoes out here?
I just lost the money shot, Mrs. O.
Oh.
The money shot. I was tipping around trying to find the wire.
Found it.
So there's our wire. It's all corroded. Dang it!
Huh.
I usually show the people the money shot. I'm always like, bow, bow, bow. Yeah, this thing's
Can't recreate it either.
What's that, babe?
And you can't even recreate it either.
No, we only do stuff live. We don't do these pre-diagnosed, like blah, blah, blah. There's a lot going on back here in this corner, folks. A lot of dirt, a lot of rust, a lot of corrosion.
Hi.
Alright.
Did you need Eric?
Yeah. Anyhow, I just had to help out, guys. Sorry you guys missed the money shot. Probably should pull the fuse if we're going to do this. Here's the easiest way. You cut it there. Leave these connectors right alone. My guy, because if you touch them, you're going to open up a can of worms you ain't never wanted to open. I'm going to take the green snot here off this one. Which, there it is. There's your money shot for you. Best I could do. Man, spin this wire around where we can get a hold of it. Hopefully. Kind of an awkward position because you guys, I need to move you folks into a better position. I don't know if it's better for you, but it's better for me. I think it's better for me. Let's see, now we're actually kind of close. Making it weird again. So this explains a lot. This explains why we had our voltage that couldn't carry current, right? See how we followed the facts? And the fact of the matter is, we got corroded up wire. And then we're gonna strip her back. We're just gonna add a little section here. We're just gonna bypass the connector. And then that will fix the customer complaint of no power tailgate. And then we'll let them know what the connector was here, because I think this connector has some other stuff in it. Parking aid sensors or something. So strip that back. Let's go get a piece of wire. Almost. You know, we got enough here to just, we don't even need a piece of wire. We can just bypass it and still be in good shape. We don't want that to touch metal because this circuit's still hot right now. So let's get this thing bypassed. It's kind of a weird spot with you guys in my way. So we're going to use just a crimp and seal connector. I think ultimately the real problem on this vehicle is, you know, the water intrusion back here that has happened over years and years and years. But you know, what are you gonna do? It's you know, it's an upstate New York vehicle. Tailgate's pretty rusty, stuff like that. We'll just bypass it. No sense in fixing wherever the water came from, or you know, accumulated, accrued over the years. It's not like it's standing water. The vehicle's not all musty and nasty. It's just, it's too late. Ain't no saving her. Put the old girl on hospice and run her to the end, baby. Sounds bad saying that, doesn't it? Well, it's the cold hard truth, folks. There we go. We're still a little toasty. It's getting hard though. We're gonna let that cool down. We're just gonna click it back in. There's plenty of wire. It's not a big deal. Chances are there may be at some point in its life, if other wires in there are getting corroded and start creating other problems, you have to bypass that whole connector. But click that back in the hole. Get this thing back. I'll put the screws in that. Put the screws right to it. And then we're done. I'll put the plastic back on and we'll go about our day of fixing cars. Oops. You missed the mark on that one, fella. Close sesame! I don't even know if that's a thing, but we can see it closes now, so therefore it should open. And I put the plastic jiggly bits, what was on it when it came in, back together and back on it. I let the guy finish the rest. I don't know what else he has unhooked or unplugged or whatever there, but I think the vehicle's happy now. We'll have to start it, make sure there's no more lights on. I was looking at the circuit here and it looks like in the connector, the rest of those wires in there pertain to the power tailgate. So 3 of them go to the power tailgate. Another full-time power, and then some parking and backup sensor systems, it says, for some of the other wires. So perhaps at some point in another life we'll have some other issues back there, but there's a lot of corrosion and a lot of stuff going on in that rear quarter panel. If I remember correctly, these Hondas used to have issues there. I've fixed some of these in the past, or had some come in with some water intrusion issues, and it's where that cable comes out of that quarter panel and will, you know, fill up, the drain fills up and then the quarter fills up and the cars get full of water and stuff like that. So I've seen some issues there, not too often, probably not as much as like body guys do, or, you know, stuff like that. But I think we did the right fix for it. Used some logical deduction to find out what the problem was, and then just kind of got lucky as far as finding, you know, it was broke at the connector. But we knew we were dealing with some corrosion. Knowing Hondas, I typically don't have wiring issues as far as chafage and just random breaks. Usually there's problems at connectors, at modules, you know, stuff like that. And like I say, I think we did a video similar to this with Mrs. O's van back when she had the Honda with an airbag light on. And it was a connector in one of the quarter panels, if I remember right. And it had some kind of sticky substance in it, like soda, because if I remember right, it was below a cup holder, which I was like, oh, well, no kidding. You know, we got 3 kids that are animals, and, you know, could have got something in there. So that's that. I want you to get into that comment section, the questions, the comments, the Insta, the Facebook, and wherever else we are on the World Wide Web. And just remember, viewers, if I can do it, you can do it. Thanks for watching.